What's up, everybody? This is Simone, aka Author SD Johnson, and I just wanted to do another little story time. So it's kind of like less of a story time, more of an encouragement, but the fact still remains the same. I have something to say, right? So I was just wondering, as I was going throughout this particular week and then coming up on Mother's Day that had just passed, just the weight and the responsibility of what it means to be a mom. So for me, I have a career in real estate. I write my own books. I'm also a ghostwriter, and I have 3 kids. Okay, so here's where the dynamic gets thick. So I have 3 kids. I have a 17-year-old who is finishing up her junior year of high school. And we have twins that are about to turn 9 at the end of this month, which is May, right? And they're in the 3rd grade, getting ready to go into the 4th grade. And so our oldest, the girl, very academically minded, very smart, but she's still a teenager, so we go through teenage things, right? And then we have the girl twin. She is our social butterfly. She loves to be in the midst of things. She loves to worry about the latest drama on the playground, that kind of thing. So I always get the good 3rd grade tea. Then we have our boy, and our son, the boy twin, he has autism. And I hate to say mild autism because you know what, ASD is ASD. And that sounds kind of like, he's not as spicy as some of the other kids, that kind of thing. So I hate that term. But what I will say is over the years, he has hit a lot of his milestones, right? Academically, he's doing wonderful. For him, he has to learn some of the more social cues that are going on in the world, right? So instead of us adapting to, strike that. Instead of him adapting to us, we try to adapt to him and incorporate him into our world, and we incorporate ourselves into his world. That's the best way I can explain how we deal with his situation. Anyway, all of these kids that we have, they each go to 3 different schools, and they are out at 3 different times. And so when I still have a full-time career in real estate, when I still have writing and different things to do, it makes it difficult to always have to be on everybody else's schedule. Luckily, I have a dope husband and we can tag team a lot of the stuff that's going on. But I mean, to be real honest, there are some days where I don't want to go pick them kids up. There are days when I don't want to come home and cook dinner. A lot of days I don't. People know in this house, it's called fend. You will fend for yourself. They be like, Mom, what are we having tonight? Fend? Absolutely. Go in there and see what you can make. There are times when my husband will come home with food, which makes it great. There are even times when our oldest will sit down and make a full meal for us. So it's I take great pride in knowing that I have a really dope family. But then on top of that, as moms, we have to have almost split personality, right? Not in a, not like that, but I have to be responsible for each personality that's within the home and still be a wife to my husband. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like there's one of me, there's four of them. They're all completely different, right? And so I have to be who I need to be for each one of them because I can't discipline one the way I discipline the other. I can't speak to one person in another person's love language, if you follow me. So there's that kind of dynamic that plays out within the family. And then in the real estate career, you're dealing with different personalities constantly. That can drain on your energy when you have a difficult client that you're trying to close. And then in the writing world, I have to, if I'm ghostwriting, I'll say, I have to make sure that I'm creating this world and these characters that are going to be fit for my client. So that's, a huge drain on the energy. And then when it comes to my own writing, having to put myself in the frame of mind of my characters, drop myself in the world that my characters are in. And it's mentally and emotionally, sometimes this can compound on us, right? And so if you're a mom, think about your plate. Think about how heavy it is. Do you delegate some of those things that need to be delegated? Do you take time for self-care? Because self-care can mean many different things to many different people. Self-care to me is a nap. Self-care to me is isolated time to write. Self-care to me is not being bothered and playing video games sometimes. So like, what does that look like for you? And are you taking those adequate steps to make sure that you're getting that self-care? So there's that. And then, realize that you don't always have to be a superhero. It's okay to have a bad day. It's okay to not feel your best. It's okay to say, you know what, I'm not doing this today. You have to have those moments. And then you also need to know when it's time to stand up, put your big girl panties on and go in there and conquer the day, because, there are some things that are just going to be unavoidable. Maybe you have to be that superhero. Maybe you have to be in 2 different places at once. Like low key this one time, if we're going into story time, I was so like inundated with things that I had to do. And like I said, my kids are on different schedules. Why did I leave the girl twin at school and I was sitting at somebody else's school waiting for that person to get out because I forgot it was early out Thursday? I mean, it's a whole thing. So stuff like that happens, right? And if we're going to be transparent, it sucks. But then at the end of the day, like, think of how dope you are. Think that these people look to you so much and they revere your word, your love, your nurturing spirit, to where as you're pouring into them, they'll reflect that love back to you in their own little way. Like when I get cards, when I get flowers, when I get compliments, when somebody has picked up their mess without me telling them to, when I don't get any attitude from the 17-year-old about whatever it is we're talking about, and she comes to me with a mature conversation, when the boy twin just simply wants to cuddle up and tell me he loves me. I mean, it's rewarding. And so I just want to encourage all the moms out there, find a way to find the joy in the little things, even when you're real pissed off and you don't want to find the joy. When things are getting overwhelming, take that time to relax, relate, release, like Whitley Gilbert would do. And, if you have to, reach out to somebody. Who's your accountability partner? Who's the person that will hype you up? Have a hype woman in your back pocket. And if you don't have one, I mean, shoot, be your own hype woman. I've been hyping myself up for a minute just because it's like, at some point, you got to learn how to just do you and make sure that above all else, realizing that God has blessed you to take care of another life, and God has blessed you with whatever career. And even if it's not that, think about those wins in your life. Are you finishing school? It might have been a win just to get up out of the bed and put some real clothes on. And I'm not even being funny. That's like real. I went through that phase of like, I was struggling with about a depression, and like my win was literally getting out of the bed and eating something. You know what I mean? And so what is that win going to be for you? Celebrate that. Realize that, these kids are looking up to us. Our spouses need our support, or our person. They need our support just as much as we need theirs. And that, it's a circus. And when you go to the circus, you're supposed to have fun, even when it looks like chaos. So what does that look like for you? I'm probably the craziest person in this house, and I bring them into my craziness. On days when I'm feeling extra goofy, we're all going to be goofy until I realize I'm getting on people's nerves, and I know I got to calm down. But that's just the way it is. So anyway, that's my little bit of encouragement just for this week. That's my story time. I know it's kind of all over the place, but it's just been on my heart just to be like, you know what? Let everybody know chaos. There's order in chaos, if that makes sense, because not every day around here is the same. Not every person is going through the same thing. And I realized I have to be adaptable. And what looks like a hot mess, I get a lot of joy out of that hot mess because I get to take care of the people that I love. I get to support the people that I love. And then on top of that, when I need it, I need to be vocal enough to say it, because they don't always read my mind, or they can't read my mind, I should say that. But I get to draw on them from the support when I need it too. So it goes both ways, and that's a true blessing. So stay encouraged. Find your voice to speak up when you need it. Get that self-care in when you need it. And realize, like, these people don't have to celebrate you just on one day because the whole world said, it's Mother's Day. You can be celebrated as much as you need to be celebrated. So how about that?